Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video I would like to discuss food waste and food loss on a global scale. So many are quite informed when it comes to the problem that we're facing with regards to food on a global scale, more specifically the production, the distribution, and the availability. To the extent that there is an awareness of the fact that we are more than capable of providing food for all, for all of humanity equally. The food production, distribution, and availability is there, but two of the major problems that are existing is food waste and food loss. So in this video, I would more like to touch on, what is it and what has it been about human nature that has contributed to the creation of the relationship to food that exists today on a global scale. Meaning, if I have a look at myself, for example, my childhood, teenage, adulthood years, and how it is that and I was fortunate in this regard. I only became aware of my relationship to food, my body's relationship to food, my survival's relationship to food when I was in my early 20s. And I could not find any memory or any genuine, real moment before that where I actually really considered the rest of the world's relationship to food and survival and living on Earth. And within this, what opened up for me is how few people are, in any way educated when it comes to the precise or exact nutrition that your body needs on a daily basis to support your body most effectively. And this, not only in relation to nutrition in general, in terms of, what your body needs in general, but what your specific body needs. In other words, I found, I've gone through various processes and experimentations, when it comes to different food groups and different food types for myself. Where I walked a couple of months testing what foods my body responds to the best and what foods compromise my body and what foods I have a particular relationship with because of some memory or emotional experience. That also exists. So I've walked a process in getting to know my body's relationship to food and how what foods, food groups, food types support my particular body the best. And yes, I do sometimes have the moments of indulging. But what opened up for me is that I realized, how much different, the experience of myself and my body would have been if I were more educated in relation to food from a very young age, or for example, really from a young age being able to support my body the best based on all the developmental changes that it's going throughout the years. Getting to know the physiology, the biology, the science behind, what changes are happening in my body in what years and what foods would assist and support it the most. So, that's an important relationship to have with your body, with food in this lifetime. Because if you're not breathing, if your body is not living or alive and functioning at its utmost potential, you don't within yourself and your mind. That's also another interesting science or process to go into in understanding how what goes on in your body affects the mind and what goes on in your mind affects the body. So, I've been for quite some time, developing that balance within myself, but how few people have the opportunity to walk such a process in their lives, who would like to explore such a relationship between food and the body, but then comes in the question of time, with people who has almost 12 to 18-hour days, and there's almost no time to even take a moment to consider what you're putting into your body and how it's affecting your body and how it's affecting your mind, where you're just like kind of on the go and on the run all the time, that you're just putting anything and everything into the body just to feel full, to feed it, to like, okay, eat this and let's get going. You've at least got something in your body. So, within that, in having a look at the separation that exists, in our own relationship with food and our own relationship with our bodies, it doesn't take much to kind of realize and understand that we haven't really actually cared about the situation and condition with food on a global scale. Especially those of us who have grown up in fortunate lives when it comes to always having money available, always having food available. It's like we take that for granted to such an extent. I mean, in my early 20s, when I started opening up my eyes to what's going on in this world beyond my little mind, my little life, it's no wonder that the world is continuing the way it is, and especially when it comes to food waste and food loss. How much of the food waste and loss can feed the world, and even within that, for how long? And I do understand that it's not about only the food. I mean, it's about how this whole world system is set up, the money system, the global system, the relationship between countries, continent, peoples. But what is needed for a wheel of change to even start moving, to start coming about, is for us to have a look at how have we contributed to the situation and condition of food to exist as it does on a global scale today. And within realizing my ignorance, within my relationship to food, and within that my relationship with my body, and realizing how fortunate I had been within my life to have that. It's like, yes, we get so stuck and so lost in our individual minds and our individual lives that we seldom actually just look up. Just look up in doing the necessary research, investigation, and introspection in what we can do as individuals to become a voice and start the wheel of change, in finding solutions for the basic needs that each human being deserves within this world. And this, even having a look at how we can start incorporating that within children, in relation to how to develop an awareness of the importance of their relationship to food, their physical bodies. But then, this comes back into the education systems of the world, which is also what my next video will expand on, with student loans and debt and the problem and the consequence with young people's relationship to education. So there's much that definitely needs to change in this world, but where change starts is within yourself. So what I would suggest is start educating yourself in relation to food waste and food loss. Within that, also understanding, why it is happening, why have we accepted and allowed it to happen, why is it continuing, what impact and difference can we make, can we spread some awareness, knowledge, and information through blogs, through vlogs, through, connecting with groups of people who are pushing for a change on a global scale. Because where it all started for me is with really realizing that importance for food, my body, and my life experience, and how I would like that for each person and for each child coming into this world, that we can create and prepare a world for each child where they have the best possible life. And two of the primary basic needs, is food, is education, is a roof over their heads, is a, a lifelong security to become the best and develop into the best possible person and individual that they can become. But it's like we're not spending enough time and money and attention into preparing a world for the children of the future. So you can start within yourself to become a voice of change, to start the wheel of change in this lifetime. Is start really having a look at your relationship to food, your relationship between food, the body, your life, and living survival and experience, and asking the question, but why is this not equally available for each human being on Earth? Start doing research, investigation, and introspection. Let's come together and stand together and even start creating solutions, creating suggestions for how we can change humanity's relationship to food and living and so survival. All right. Thank you very much.